Blog Talk Radio.
Please take all the necessary precautions to protect your constitution while listening to this broadcast. 3, 2, 1. Coming to you live via the internet. It's time for Rage Against the Regime. Let's get ready to rumble! Finally, a show for patriots, defending the Constitution and uncovering the truth at every turn, bringing you exclusive interviews and covering the topics the mainstream media doesn't dare to touch. Call in and join the discussion at 929-477-3565. That's 929-477-3565. And now, here are your hosts, Bobby Who's the Man and Becky Williams. Rage Against the Regime.
I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard to Rage Against the Regime podcast, and I am your host, Bobby Who's the Man. Today, I have a very, very special guest with me. A lot of you will know him from the big battles that went on at Bundy Ranch, and the battle still continues. We're going to be having on Mr. Booda Bear Cavalier. I want to apologize to everybody right at this moment. I'm like 3 minutes away from me being on the right connection that I'm supposed to be on, just running a few minutes behind, so I'm actually doing it off of my cell phone until I reach my destination, which is 3 minutes away. So everybody please hold tight. I know Booda Bear is already on hold waiting. I just don't have a way to bring up the studio while I'm on my cell phone. So Booda, if you could just hold tight. But everybody else, I do apologize for for this little bump in the road that really isn't a major big deal. Couple things that I want to cover today. I want to cover the news of this past week, which the biggest story would be the Jade Helm 15 situation that's going on, and then a lot of the news that's coming out about martial law, and the different information that keeps coming out almost on a daily occurrence. It seems like there's new news and new information that comes out. And, I think that these are very, very important topics that need to be covered right at this point. But some other big news that we need to cover is the news about what's going on at the Bundy Ranch and the importance of, all the stuff that's going on there. But I'm 2 minutes away from being on the right connection, so I'm actually going into the house now. Sorry for all the background noise, it's just what's happening. So give me 2 minutes, and I'll be up running properly. So everybody, whoop whoop whoop, we're home. Give me 1 second here, and I will have this up running correctly. And like I said, I apologize to everybody. I don't think I've had this type of situation happen to me in quite a while. We actually got stuck at a doctor's office. And any of you that go to doctor's offices, you know how the doctors are. They never do what they're supposed to be doing, and it's never an in and out situation. So, gotta take it for what it's worth, and do what we're supposed to be doing. So here we are. I'm about to go on up the studio right now. So please bear with me, and I will have it up and running here momentarily. And I will apologize one more time. I know, kind of terrible when you gotta keep apologizing, but I hate having you guys having to wait on me and my goofiness and everything else. I can't even play a song for you guys right now. That would make matters way better than they are now. That's for sure. So let's see if I can't get things going here. I'm actually trying to open the studio. See if I can get that going. Okay, I'm getting ready to sign in here. Okay, and that again. Okay, that's that. And studio. And I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Wowee. And here we go. Let's see if I can actually, let's see if I can connect the board. I don't think I'm going to be able to. But here we go. Mr. Booda Bear, what's happening, brother?
Hey, brother, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, loud and clear, man. I'm sorry about the delay. We just had to take my son. He had a pretty bad. He's got a pretty bad broken leg and stuff, and we had to. He's got to go to therapy, and for some reason the therapy went a little bit longer than we thought it was going to. So that's that situation. You know how doctors are. You know, they tell you that it's going to be a 45-minute. You know. So
we're all too familiar with that.
All too familiar, unfortunately. And then I had to bring it up on my cell phone, which I hate to do. You know, I'd rather bring it up with the headphones and the microphone and all that. So here I sit on my cell phone doing this, but that's okay. I still got control of the board and everything. I want to welcome you aboard, brother. You know, there's so much to say about you. A lot of people that don't know your situation, maybe you could introduce yourself. I mean, I don't know why anybody would need an introduction, but, you know, give them a little bit of a breakdown, you know, on how you ended up becoming the head security person at Bundy Ranch and why you went there in the first place, because I think it's an intriguing story.
All right. Well, just to let your listeners know, my name is Booda. I've been head of security on the actual ranch property itself since the standoff last year in April. It all started one day when I was at home in Arizona and got a phone call from a friend saying, hey, have you seen what they're doing to this rancher and his family down there? You know, the infamous video footage of the family getting tased and the dogs and Aunt Margaret getting shoved to the ground. So a long story short, I decided that I needed to come out here and help stand by this family. And I came down here, asserted myself as head of security, gave them a brief background on what I do, which is personal security detail. I work for musicians, celebrities, you know, whatever. And I said, you know, I'm not out here for publicity. I'm not out here to further my political agenda. I'm not an oath keeper. I'm not a militia member directly, although we all kind of are militia members because we're all willing to take a stand against the government. But nonetheless, I didn't have any associations to anybody. And I said my first and foremost concern is the safety of this family to practice what they're going to do. So I came out here and got aboard, and I'm happy and honored to say that I'm still out here. I'm the last bodyguard. I do have a rotation of people coming in from Las Vegas, some of my heavy hitters, and we rotate with security for the family. I still escort Mr. and Mrs. Bundy mostly off property for speaking engagements or, you know, any kind of public events that we might go to. We just actually got back from Carson City, Nevada, where we are trying to pass a bill here in Nevada which will keep the feds out of the state of Nevada. And it went rather well, and we're looking forward to seeing how it's going to go. The bill is AB 408, which basically gives the lands, the public lands that the BLM thinks they own, back to we the people, the citizens of Nevada. So it's been rather fun doing all this. And like I said, I'm still out here holding down the fort, and we're getting ready to celebrate our year anniversary of the standoff. Big barbecues planned out here. We've encouraged people to come out and camp, bring their kids. I just got done building a shooting range out here for everybody to come and do some shooting, and just some good old-fashioned country fun out here, and we're looking forward to it.
So is it going to kind of be like it was last year? They had some type of Freedom Fest where a bunch of bands came and donated their time and all that.
Yeah, it's going to be something similar to that. Madison Rising won't be a part of the music venue this year, But we have some musicians that are coming out, some cowboy poetry. We're going to have a big screen rolling footages from the standoff that people have provided us some epic photographs that some people haven't quite seen. I've got a whole album of photographs that I'm saving for my book that I'm going to write in regards to me knowing the real Clive and Bundy as a personal bodyguard. And I got some really, really touching photos, private photos that are, something I held dear to my heart with the family and special events. And the family's taken me in as one of their own. And it's just a beautiful, warming feeling to be a part of this great family. And we're still out here doing what we do. I'm always going on patrol. I'm still checking out and keeping an eye on the perimeter for any federal agencies that might be, meddling around out here. I'm proud to say we haven't had any BLM agents or any federal agents whatsoever come out here and try to bother us in this whole past year. So we've been able to enjoy the freedoms that we all stood up for last year in April. So that's also a great feeling too.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I mean, I just, when you look back on history, I think that one of the biggest impacts that we've ever had in history would be what happened there at the Bundy Ranch. Okay? And, a lot of people can talk about a lot of things that have happened, but how many people can actually say that they actually beat the government at pretty much at dirty poker? Because they thought that they were going to come out there and manhandle you guys and just push you around and, and do whatever the hell they wanted to do, and that wasn't the case whatsoever. I mean, you guys came out and you stood your ground, and, it was quite a good sight to see, to see the militia members that came out there, and then, to see the snipers pointing at the snipers, and, I mean, nobody wants bloodshed, nobody wants that kind of fight or anything. It was just nice to see the numbers that came out in support to let you guys know that they were there to help you guys fight that battle. But
yes,
to go back into history, I mean, how many people can actually say that they want to fight like that? Not very many.
Well, I'd like to interject a little bit there.
Sure.
I'm probably going to go off on a limb here a little bit. I would prefer to say that we did win, but I can recall numerous times within our government that we don't really win. I don't know how to say it properly. I guess we stood up and we curbed it is what we did. We, the people, stood up and curbed any kind of situation that could have escalated.
Sure.
Another way I'm looking at it too is you don't do what we did to the government, basically rub their nose in the dirt and tell them to kick rocks and get the hell out of here, without expecting some kind of repercussion. And that's why I'm still out here. I'm not necessarily afraid of the federal agencies coming back because of the limelight and the political spotlight that this property is on. I think they're going to come back more in a court-related level. But one of the other reasons I'm still around, and hopefully there's some people that are going to take offense to this because that's my job is I piss people off, is I'm more afraid of some Democrat right-wing nutcake that's going to come out here and try to make an example of this family, and that's not going to happen on my watch. I unequivocally can tell anybody to their face or over the phone or on Facebook or any social media site, I am prepared to die to protect this family. That's not even open for discussion. So if you're willing to die for your cause, then I guess we'll see who's going to fare out in the long run. And like you said earlier, though, I'm not for violence. It's a language I know how to speak, but if they want to come that way, I'm very fluent in it. So, if you're prepared to die, then I'm prepared to die. Then I guess we'll see who's going to make it to heaven, because I know I fight for the Lord. And the only thing I fear in this world, period, is God and an angry girlfriend. There's only two things I fear in this world. That's it. I don't know.
Becky Williams, my co-host, she just joined us. Say hi, Becky.
Hi, Brother Buddha. How have you been, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good, Becky. How you been, honey? You doing good?
I'm doing good. I'm just like you, fighting dragons and pissing people off.
Yeah, well, the only thing we can do is to represent ourselves in a suitable fashion and a gentlemanly or ladylike fashion to get our agenda, and not even our agenda, our God-given rights and our constitutional rights to help spread the word. And should they bring the fight, then we'll be prepared. But there's a lot of things that you were talking about, Bobby, when you were trying to get yourself into your home and to the switchboard about Jade Helm and all the news going on in the world. And this is for all the naysayers that might be out there. Please listen to this carefully. Okay, we've got so much stuff going on here in the world. It's almost incomprehensible of what's going on. We have things acting up over in Russia on the border over there with us supplying arms that way. Russia's responding with their comments. You've got the flopping Obama trying to strike a deal on the nuke situation with Iran. You've got Israel getting pissed off about it, which they have a right to. We've got Jade Helm 15 going on. The economy is going to shit. China's getting stronger. I could go down this list for the next 20 minutes. Now, for all the naysayers out there, at what point do you believe that something is not going to erupt? The odds are for it. The numbers do not lie. There's going to be an eruption of violence on a magnitude that we are not prepared for or not expecting in a matter of time. The pot is boiling over, and there's no more wishy-washy. Well, we can save it, in my opinion, only. Well, we can save it. We can do this. We can do that. You can do whatever you want, but it's not going to change. This is destined to happen. The only thing you can do is make right with your Creator, make right with the man to the right and left of you, and stand your ground and shoot straight and stab upwards.
So let me ask you a question. What's been the news as of late? I mean, I know that we've been seeing reports and hearing that, that, of course, that the government, the BLM or whoever, wants to go back after not just Cliven's property, but other properties like in Utah, California, so on and so forth. And I know that Mr. Bundy has been speaking at different affairs and stuff like that, talking about this situation. Has there been any type of like breaking news of, any kind of new movement that the government is, going to want to come in and, do that again to different properties in different places, or?
Well, at this point, I wouldn't say it's breaking news, but what a lot of people are starting to become aware of is the BLM's overreaching powers are now being met with opposition, and that is us, we the people, standing up and saying no more. Utah's putting up a fight. Arizona, basically all of the Southwest and all these regions where the BLM has great control is starting to be dealt with accordingly. At this point, there's not much that can be said for breaking news, just the fact that we continue to engage in political fighting and awareness to help turn the tables to our side, because constitutionally speaking, these people cannot do what they're doing. And the Constitution is a document that was divinely inspired by our Heavenly Father, in my opinion. And my Heavenly Father is who I listen to. I don't need some federal agency telling me what I can and where I can't go out here. This land is for we the people to enjoy. If BLM would have gotten their way, they would have blocked off this beautiful area that I'm out here on and kept the off-roaders, the hikers, campers, shooters, just everybody that wants to enjoy the freedoms of our country and this land out here would have been blocked away from. And we basically stood up and said, no, you're not going to take it from us, and it's not going to go down that way. And if it is going to go down that way, prepare for resistance. Whatever level it might be, depends on you.
Right. Totally.
And then you've got this whole Jade Helm 15 thing going on now. And I'm kind of indifferent on it. I'm not going to get into anything too specific other than the fact that whatever they're doing, whether it be a test run for martial law or whatever, all I can tell you is that it's not kosher, that they're conducting an 8-week-long course throughout various states, labeling them as which one will be more resistant, which one won't. I mean, I don't care what people say. This is not normal, period. I got a
direct violation, Buddha. It's a direct violation of Posse Comitatus. They're in direct violation. They amend or contort law to fit their agenda, and we've done our homework, and there are foreign troops participating.
Well, I can tell you this much. Yeah, it is against the law constitutionally, but we have to look at who we're talking about doing this. This is the federal government. At what point do we realize that they don't give a shit about this law? They're going to do whatever they want, and that's what they're doing. And it's up to us to give them resistance on a political level first, of course, to stand up against them and say, you know, you can't be doing this, man. It's just not right. And they're not going to listen, of course.
Yeah. So, Booda, what would be your thought on your personal thought, based on research, based on what you know is the norm? What would be your thought the purpose actually is of this Jade Helm situation?
I've been thinking on it, and I knew we were going to do this radio show, and I honestly expected to have some great big response for you, but I really don't. The best response and thoughts that I have is that they're going to be intermingling with, according to their stats, or their press release rather, they're going to be intermingling with citizens and trying to blend in with the citizens, running around with blank chambered weapons. I mean, doing covert operations between the hours of 11 at night and 4 or 5 in the morning. It's just not normal. And then we've all seen the new footage of what was going on in Fort Lauderdale with those Blackhawks landing in downtown Fort Lauderdale. And then in the video, you see people being marched to white vans. And I don't care what you say, that's not normal, period. And if you're going to do that kind of operation, you need to do that shit somewhere else, not here on our soil, because that's going to ruffle the feathers.
You know what we come to find out about that, though? There's reports going around now. I don't know how true it is. I'm going by what the reports are, that was homeless people that they were rounding up because Hollywood, Florida didn't want those people there. So they said, you know, we need to get rid of them. They rounded them up and supposedly sent most of them to Portland, Oregon. But like you're saying, it doesn't matter. They shouldn't be doing it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to try to round up some homeless people and take them to another area for whatever reason, I mean, they have the right to be there on the streets. I mean, I don't condone it running around. We should do more for our homeless rather than taking care of all these dipshit countries that don't give a shit about us. But, you know, I mean, you don't need to bring in Blackhawks to do it. You don't need to bring in armed men. You know, you bring in a bus. Do it more on a humanitarian level, and show some compassion for these people that might be in a rough spot, and act accordingly. But when you come in landing Blackhawks in downtown Florida or Fort Lauderdale, weapons, marching them to vans, and then you're talking about Jade Helm. Another thing, too, about this Jade Helm 15, you ever notice the slogan on it is "Master the Human Domain"? Doesn't that just rub you the wrong way?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm a washed-up old salty Marine. But I can tell you, that's basically blatantly telling me you're going to master my domain. And that dog don't hunt.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, you know, I'm just, all this stuff that's going on with this Jade Helm, I mean, it's a scary situation all the way around, no matter how you look at it. I mean, they say that they're preparing for people on foreign soil. I don't believe that for nothing. I believe that they're going to be hitting home worse than they're going to be hitting anywhere else. We've got plenty of troops that are on the Russian border, in Germany, and all over the place. They've got over 80,000 troops over there right now, you know, that are getting ready to go to war or whatever. But, I mean, we know that they're going to try to...
You just said it yourself, Bobby. They're preparing to send them on foreign soils. Well, if you're trying to prepare them to go on foreign soils and have them blend in with the civil populace in other countries, well, I don't know where they're planning on going, but as far as I know, we speak English in this country unless you're along the border and you speak English and Spanish, but you're going to try to blend in with other societies on a war front, and you're going to do it on American soil. I mean, there's language barriers that you're going to need to deal with that you need to train for. I mean, it's just it's the whole ball of wax is not good. And then you've got Russia threatening us, not necessarily us, but the Obama regime, telling them if you keep sending arms to our borders to arm these rebels, then then they're going to send arms down to the Mexican border and try to arm us down there. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And that's what I was saying earlier in the programming. At what point does all these things fall into place and you think still after the day's end, well, it was going to be okay. I'm going to still have my Easter egg hunt and Christmas is going to be beautiful. Bullshit. Numbers don't lie. There's going to be too much shit going on and something's going to boil over and burn somebody.
But I have a question for you, brother.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm having a guest on Saturday, Aaron Stair. He's out of Austin. He's a militia member. He's done several tours down on the border, trying to help secure our situation in Texas and Arizona. We had a gentleman who was attacked physically with a weapon by an illegal, a foreign invader the other night that resulted in 6 broken ribs and ruptured spleen. Aaron tells us that these are incidents that are occurring frequently. Am I correct, sir? Is that not an act of war for a foreign invader to cross over a border and attack an American citizen with a weapon?
I guess without knowing some of the situation, it's kind of hard for me to wade too far into it. But all I can say is, where was his backup?
Well, we still haven't had that answered either. But this seems to be incidents that are frequent, and our government is not responding either state, local, or federal to a foreign invasion. And an attack, and even resulting in murders. We're losing, more people every year. They lose their lives to these foreign invaders that we lost in a 12-year Iraqi war. That is an act of war, sir. Every definition of the form or laws of war, that is war, and our government is trying to suppress our ability as citizens to secure our border. They won't do it. They don't want us to do it either.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. Now, you've also got to look at, I've got a lot of brothers and sisters that have gone down there on that border, the southern border, and have done ops down there, and I'm kind of indifferent on it. I'm more or less the type of person, if shots start getting fired or start getting hectic, that's when I'm going to go down there. It's not that I don't want to go. It's the fact that I'm not going to abandon my post up here at the ranch to go down there on an effort when our government can't even do it. Now, we've got a lot of great citizens and patriots that have been down there doing their operations on the border, and I support them 100%. But when you get yourself into a situation where the government's not going to back you, the states aren't going to back you, you're basically out there on your own, you're going to be susceptible to repercussions that could occur, such as this gentleman getting hurt and beat down. He shouldn't have been alone. It sounds like he might have been alone. But the other aspect of it is these people coming into our country, they are foreign invaders, but we've got to pick and choose our battles. And this is one that we should pay attention to because it will erupt soon enough. It's a matter of time, once again, with all the other things in the world, it's a matter of time till one of those cartel members sneaks across the border and gets in a gunfight, and then our patriots respond with suppressing fire and whooping them down. Then that's another way for them to come along the border and institute martial law there. There's a whole bunch of different cards that could fall down on this one.
Well, the sad thing is that I've studied the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the rules of law, the rules of engagement. I've paid attention to what's going on. And when our government opens up a border, ignoring the laws that have been put in place to secure a nation, and we have every right, even under the law of nations, we have every right to secure our borders against invasion. And we have a government who turns drug cartels, 1% gang members, with lots of lives occur. Armed foreign invaders have attacked an American citizen or a Texan or, whatever you want, whatever your definition is of citizenship. And we're being attacked. That is, in fact, an act of war. And as an act of war, if your government is failing to help assisting the invasion, we as an individual human being have not only the obligation but the right to defend with deadly force if need be. And
I agree 100%.
The threat of martial law, here's the reality of it. I believe Jade Helm is psyop, conditioning, and possibly extraction. We've never seen anything like this occur in America on all this big. And to continue to be afraid of the implementation of martial law, we're already under a martial law. We're already under a soft martial law. But to continue to allow your citizens to die and to be have the imposition of losing their livelihood, their future, it's being given away, watching your veterans die, watching these children in America, their American children. You know, at some point, brother, we have to stop that. And we're trying to do revolution, not revolution, but we're at a point where what we fear is already inevitable. At what point do you stop it? If you wait until the martial law is in full force,
at this point in time, you know, everybody has a right to defend themselves and their obligation to protect their borders. But I'm going to say something that might be able to sound a little crass, but a lot of people that are going down there on them borderlines are putting themselves in harm's way. Well, I don't want to personally hear anybody sniveling and whining about it because you're down there and you're in a potentially hot zone. So you have to do what you have to do to defend yourself. Now, if they start shooting at you, then you need to take care of your own business. I'm not going to condone any kind of violent action, but you're kind of preaching to the choir, Becky, because we all know that that's a foreign area. And that's a hot zone, and we need to protect it. We've got to do everything we can and within our power and means to do it in a respectful manner. And a lot of those guys down on the border are doing it. They're doing great humanitarian work. When they do stumble across an illegal immigrant, they give them some food, give them some water, hand them over to Border Patrol. So what essentially the operations going on there are humanitarian. Now, if it comes to a wartime situation, then obviously everybody needs to step up to the plate and take care of their business and quit monkey-assing around down there because I don't want to lose any of my patriots on the fight down there on the border when our government should be doing it. But if they're not going to do it, then it's up to us, we the people, to make it something that people need to pay attention for. And also, I don't know what's going on in the background, but I'm getting a lot of background chatter like there's a conference call room or something. If we can quiet that down, I'd appreciate it.
That's what somebody else told me, too. I don't know what the hell's going on with the background noise. I'm trying to turn, because I had to go on my phone to do this, I'm wondering if that had something to do with it, or I'm trying to see if I can bring up the studio on my computer, and for some reason it's not allowing me to sign in. It's not allowing me to sign into the computer where I can actually...
Yeah, well, we can work with it. We just can't trample on each other's toes while we're talking.
Let me hang up on this, and I'm going to see... You guys keep talking. I'm going to hang up on my phone, and I'm going to try to call in on the computer and see if that allows me. We've got a couple people online that want to talk. They got their hands raised. Casey Massey's on the phone also. We're going to try to bring him in a minute. So let me hang up this, and let me try to connect to the computer. You guys carry on.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, Go ahead, honey.
Buda, you made some very valid points, and as a Christian, I agree with you on the humanitarian level. But here's what our government has actually beaten into the heads, of Americans, and that is this: when we give them food, when we give them water, it's in the code, the U.S. code, that is actually an act of treason. To aid and abet is treason. And to give them food, to give them water, to turn them over to Border Patrol, who we know that for a fact, I know this for a fact, the directive is to release, to not apprehend, to assume to not resist, then we have an issue because what we're actually doing is committing treason ourselves.
Figure it out.
It's not our place to do.
Listen, how am I supposed to come in here and listen? You have headphones and shit on.
Thing for people who are invading our country. Listen, they're taking away from us. They're taking away from our children. pedophiles, gang members. And the thing is, the guy who got hurt the other day, there was a rush of hundreds that came up through that zone, that area, right after he was hit. So they did it with intention, but here's the deal. That individual has no regard for life itself, had no problem hurting one of our own, and they're in my country now. And a bunch of them just like him. And now my kids are in danger. You see, I'm being put in imminent danger by my own government. So at what point do Americans rise up and a million people go down to that damn border with weapons and say, we're not going to take this anymore? At what point do we hold our commanders in chief, which are our governors?
Well, unfortunately, it saddens me to have to say this, but I don't think anything's going to happen down there on the border with us coming down there to stand fast and hold the wall down until it's going to be a loss of life. It'll be something on that lines before it's realized, and it's unfortunate that it has to come to that because we should already be down there enforcing it. But, like you said, this gentleman that got himself into a bind and got beat down, that's the start of what's going to occur. And I can assure you that it's only going to get worse, and then probably it's going to come to somebody getting hurt or loss of life, and then shots are going to be fired, and then after that, all hell's going to break loose down there on that border. And I honestly believe that our government is not doing anything because they in my opinion only, it's as if they want it to happen. We already know they want it to happen because they're not down there trying to enforce anything on the border. They're just monkey-assing around. They're not giving us any backup down there. I mean, Jesus, we've got all these videos on the Internet of showing these weapons getting transported, or these weapons and vehicles and helicopters getting transported all across our great nation, but we can't even get some border security down there. I mean, don't play that we ain't got the fun shit. Put some more resources down there. Put some seismic sensors in the ground, and when they start coming across, give them a 5-mile spread. And when those seismic sensors go, you got a sit rep on them, and you just roll in, swoop them up, and ship them out. But that's the thing, though, is because like you were saying, though, Becky, we give them food and water. Now, that's the humanitarian, that's the God-given thing to do that we should do. But I see what you're saying. If you keep giving the handouts, they're going to keep coming. And if they don't like the way the life is in Mexico, which it does suck, there's right ways and wrong ways. And I think, honestly, if our government wants to welcome people, that's what this country was founded on, was immigrants. But they did it the right way. The process of becoming a citizen was a little bit quicker then. Now these people they want to get out here and get a job and start making some money, and most of them, but they can't expedite the situation. Why don't we hire more? I don't even know what the word would be. More people to work on the border for their citizenship programs and bring them in the right way. Make them a productive member of society to come down here and work and live a better life. Because that's what America offers.
Buddha,
but you got to do it the right way and the wrong way.
Buddha, when my veterans and my homeless Americans are employed, then you give those bastards a job. When my kids are afforded a teacher that can actually teach someone who has autism, instead of spending $2,000 per foreign student, that's the allotment in Texas, $2,000 for every foreign kid that's sitting in a seat in my public schools, and I've got an autistic grandson they throw into a special ed class that has to be nurtured a different way so that he can retain, is ridiculous. It's ludicrous to me. You see, the injustice is so much deeper than anyone can imagine, and I'm pissed off about it. I'm angry that 1 in 30 children on my streets are American kids who are homeless. And they're paying $6,000 supplement in food stamps and education and free school lunches and free school supplies and daycare and a car program for a foreign invader who came across here illegally.
Well, go down there and stand fast and wave your flag, and if they come near you, fucking pop a cap in them. I don't condone that action, but I see what you're saying. But the simplicity of the issue is that they're going to keep coming, and we're going to keep trying to defend our border down there with honorable men and women that are down there, like Casey and the boys down there at Lone Star. There's a lot of people that have gone down there on that border and have done operations down there, but have we detained anybody? Have we arrested anybody? If it's so illegal to do all this stuff, why aren't we down there arresting them? We don't have those
and
powers,
we
unfortunately.
We should be.
You know,
That's
let
our
me.
right to do so.
Go ahead,
Becky,
Bobby.
let me give out the number. We got a ton of people calling in here. We want to get some calls in. I know a lot of people want to talk to you, Buddha. Let me give out the number.
Let's take in some calls.
Yes. 929-477-3565. That's 929-477-3565. Let me bring in this caller that's been on hold for the longest, and then we'll bring in KC. From the 602 area code, who do we have?
This is Karen. Hi, Becky.
Sweetie, how you
Hey, Becky,
doing?
can you hear?
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, how you doing? You know, I got a thought. I got a thought last night about this, and when he was bringing up a point. I think it was Buddha was bringing up the point about them taking out the homeless and busting them out, shipping them out, whatever they're doing to them. You know. There's a big problem. I mean, you know, nobody likes to see the homeless people, but, I mean, they're homeless. A lot of them are homeless because of circumstances that have been taken out of their hands. And what gives the government a right to say, look, we don't like you, so we're going to take you out of here because we don't want to look at you. So let's say, okay, they don't like somebody who carries the Bible, so we're going to take you out of here because we don't like you. We don't like the way you look. People that are overweight, we don't like you. Let's take you out of here. When does it stop? What gives them the right to decide what's pleasing to the eye and what's not? I mean, really. You know,
I agree with you 100. I agree with you 100%. I mean, at what point do we not just look at our fellow man, you know, with humanitarian eyes? You know, like you said, you know, what gives them the right to do this? What gives them the right to do that? You know what? Nobody has that right. The only person that has that right is the person who's in the situation to change it. Now, a lot of these people, you know, a lot of people are homeless because they choose to be. Most of them are not because of financial situations, a divorce or what have you. The other side of that coin is that the society is so judgmental, and it's quite unfortunate. Because I remember the days when I, you know, I'm 43 now. I remember the days where I could go borrow my neighbor's car, a cup of sugar or flour, playing in the streets with my buddies and stuff. You can't do any of this nowadays because there's so many restrictions on everything that they feel that they have to build rules and basis on it, and it's just disgusting. You know, if there's homeless people down there, I don't know how to necessarily deal with that. That's a humanitarian way, except we've got all these military bases that are getting closed and shut down. Why don't we put them out there and start educating them? If they're uneducated, start putting in some work programs for them, to give them that little boost to help them out, you know, because the other side of the coin is I'm so sick and tired of us sending money to other countries and helping them out. Why don't we start taking care of our own a little bit and use some of these military bases to house some of them and give them a fresh start? Now, there are those that don't want help, and that's fine. Let them stay where they want to stay. That's their choice. But we got to give them an opportunity to better themselves. And like I said, with all these military bases that are closing around here, those are the perfect places I could think of.
Yeah, exactly. But then now, you were talking about that, so that I was still thinking about that. This other thing has been in my head since last night. I mean, Becky, on the call the other night, we were talking about the two documents that lady had read, you know, and I've been thinking about this. You know, it hasn't been that long. Congress was talking about, you know, some of the things that Obama was doing, and that they could do a no confidence vote, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so nobody's happy with what any of them are doing up there. I mean, really, they're not listening to the people. They're not taking our calls. They're not complying to our wishes. You know, they're doing everything to stand on us and stand over us. Why can't the people do a no confidence vote on all of them and take them out?
Well, we can, but see, here's the problem. We are trying to deal lawfully with a lawless rogue entity. And we are being blocked in the courts. We're being ignored at the door of our constituents, our representatives. We are being blocked at every area. And they know that. They know that.
Exactly.
Here's one thing that the government does know. The Christian people, the patriots in this country that are standing up for the rights in this country will also be a lawful entity. And they are lawless, they are rogue, and they will ignore either by court or decree anything that we propose, anything that we demand, they will not listen, and they've proven that petitions don't work. Gaining an audience with your representatives is not working. Phone calls are not working. The court system is not working. The charges filed in the International Hague criminal court has not worked. The writs of mandamus, the writs of warranto, none of this is working. Even filed by a judge out of Alaska in June of 2014, not one judge but two, which makes it law, is still not working. So what do we do? Booda, I'm going to you because you're a soldier and I trust your wisdom.
Well, this is where it gets kind of, I could say what I want, and, yeah, I want them to listen and start turning our country around, but I think, honestly, as adults, that we're well beyond that right now. What I would recommend, and this is only me saying this, and if it bothers you, then don't listen to it. If you think I'm a nut job, then don't listen to me. That's okay. But there's a fight coming, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to stockpile our foods, our weapons, do some training. I'm starting another group out here in Nevada called Nevada Tactical Resources. We're going to be working and training people. All my basic pistol marksmanship classes will be done for free, so everybody can get a chance to learn how to take care of themselves. Now, I think some of this can be changed to a certain degree, but this is long-term down the road. But I would think that we need to start, once again, it's political, and they all seem to be full of shit these days, but we need to start attacking the low-lying fruit on the tree of the political world. We need to start electing constitutional sheriffs, representatives that have the best interests of us, we the people, at heart. If we vote somebody in, and let's say Becky and Bobby, you guys give me a job, and you're like, hey, Booda, what can you do for us? And I tell you, okay, guys, well, I'll do this for you, and I'll do this for you, and I'll do that for you. And then after a year or so, you and Becky sit down and close doors, and you guys being we the people or the employer, you say, well, Booda's not cutting it. What are you going to do? You're going to fucking fire me. And that's not what we're doing. We keep monkey-assing around with these politicians saying, well, we'll give them another chance. We'll give them another chance. Bullshit. We need to start electing officials and start working on the low level, the state level, because, the government is the one that's fucking I got to try to watch my language. I apologize. The government is the one.
We're R-rated. No big deal.
Oh, we're R-rated? Okay, these fucking douchebag politicians, scumbag piece of shit, period chunks that just flush down a toilet. They absolutely disgust me. And, and I've been fooled too. We all have been. You'll see somebody come across the political headlines and you're like, wow, this dude might be the one, man. Fuck yeah, let's go vote for him. What happens? You take a handful of sand in your ass and you get taken into your mud locker so far by them that you need an archaeologist to dig them out. It's stupid. So I would say that we should start trying that, and you and me as citizens offer our training services for free, basic pistol marksmanship. I'm doing CQB classes for people for free. If you want to get more tactical, then I'll charge you a very low fee. But, that's just to keep the range up and running and such and such. I'm not trying to make $1 million because with $1 million comes a million problems. And I'm not trying to go that route. But I think everybody has a God-given right to defend themselves, and we should offer that training to people. We got people down there on the border that are doing kick-ass work down there that are getting beaten, battered by American citizens saying, well, you guys shouldn't be down there. You guys shouldn't be doing this. You know what? Somebody's got to do it, and a damn strength of government, and the Border Patrol's not getting the funding to properly secure that area. And then you also got to worry about the crooked not BLM. Well, they're crooked too, but you got to worry about the crooked Border Patrol agents. I mean, at this point, it almost seems to be better off just having we the people down there on the border and securing that shit. At least you'll know you're getting a straight answer.
I ran for governor of Texas, and I had a military council because I was running on a platform of secession. And some of those Border Patrol agents were in my council. They're ex-military gentlemen. And I know for a fact exactly what the directive is that's being handed down by the Muslim-controlled DHS in this country that's supposed to be our Department of Homeland Security, and that is this. It is to the point now where our Border Patrol cannot even defend their person with fisticuffs. They'll go before the panel of internal affairs. They'll lose their job. And they could face jail time. Now, that is that fact. That is absolute truth. The media will not report on it. Your local
the
law
media
enforcement will not
they're a
report
bunch
on
of
it.
jokes.
Yeah, nobody will report on it. That's why Bobby and myself and Ben Pam and Zeta and Joanne Moretti and Scott Perello and Dr. Garro and Doc Green, that's why we do what we do. We tell the truth. Does it make us a target for the government? I can assure you I'm on the red list. Do I give a shit?
Well, if you're not on a government watch list by now, you should be ashamed of yourself.
You
know what? Let me interfere really quick. Karen, if you're done, because we've got a ton of callers on, and I want to give everybody
some more calls.
a chance
Karen,
to
it was
get in
nice
here.
talking. Karen, it was nice talking to you, and thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll put you on hold. Okay, and let's see here. Let's put Karen on hold. Wait, I did that wrong. Sorry, I did that wrong. Yeah, okay, this stupid thing is goofy. Okay, so let's go to, let's see here. Let's go to my main man, Mr. KC Massey. What's happening, brother?
What's going on?
What's happening? Well, you hear what we're talking about. What do you think?
Yeah, I wanted to throw a few things in there as far as like on the border. Booda, I did just so that I could prove that Americans do have the right of arrest. It's called a citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
And I did arrest and videotape and put on the internet us arresting illegal immigrants.
Good for you guys.
As a policy, I didn't want to arrest because here's the deal. When I arrest them, now they get into the country. So our main focus and objective was to run them back like cattle, back through the river to the other side. And I've got plenty of videos showing me doing that. That was what we intended and did. Now, the Border Patrol is corrupt as hell. Like in the instance where they've come after me and their court case against me and John Forrester, the Border Patrol agent that committed a felony by firing at us, opening fire, he was lawyered up and never even made a statement about the shooting. Yet his words were quoted in a hearsay in an affidavit. So, I mean, they're liars. The government are straight-ass liars. Border Patrol, I would say, is 75% corrupt. There's some good agents out there, but they're far outnumbered by the corrupt ones. And corruption is ongoing to this day.
I agree. I've been watching that situation down there, and actually, on a side note, it pleasures me to hear your voice and know you're fighting that battle on another level. We have a lot of mutual friends, and I'm not going to start dropping names because that's nobody else's business. But between me and you, but
I know
I've been following your situation. Yeah, I've been following your situation down there, paying real close attention, and it's just good to know that you're down there and you boys are fighting the fight. And what you're doing, like you were saying, the arrests and all that, that's good stuff. But that's another good point you brought up, actually, and you just acknowledged me, and I appreciate it. By arresting them, you're acknowledging them and then bringing them in as a citizen, or at least preparing them for that path. So that's another. I appreciate you for acknowledging me on that. Yeah, everybody knows Border Patrol's corrupt, but like Becky was saying, and all of us, we all feel that border is a touchy situation, and I wish you guys the best of luck down there. If I can tell you this much though, if something gets negative down there, I mean like negative, I'll be down there in a heartbeat.
Well, the bad thing is, like the guy that got hurt, I'm not at Camp Lone Star anymore because of the federal charges against me. They've barred me from going to the border. The only time I get to go there is when I get to go to court, at which time they have more federal agents around the courthouse and in the courthouse than they did at Bundy Ranch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If they use the amount of feds that come to my court hearings on the border, they could shut down the entire border area in Brownsville while I'm in court.
Yeah,
but
no
instead,
shit, huh?
they choose to try to intimidate and bully me, which is fine. Fucking with the ass a bunch of punks.
Somebody's got a lot of background noise.
It's
I don't know.
quiet.
I'm not sure. Maybe that was Becky. I'm not quite sure, but I heard a ton of background noise. Sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah.
Well, keep on doing what you're doing down there. And I know you wish you could be down there every second of every day down there on that border, but you got to fight. You got another level of a fight you got to go to. But your intel and knowledge to help educate and train those people that might be interested in going down there is invaluable, because you are boots on ground. You know, if there's people that are actually, any of the listeners that are interested in maybe doing border operations, get in touch with Casey and some high reps down there, because they've been down there. They know what to expect. They know how they can offer you advice and what to do. Just because Casey's not down there, I encourage people that are listening to not give up on that border down there. Casey was a high-ranking person down there, and he can still, just like a good general leads from behind the background sometimes. You know, that's where Casey's battle is now, and he's got to go fight the people head on. And I don't know your legal bills and all that, Casey. I know they're chiming up, but if anybody can make a donation to help Casey's cause, to help him fight that fight, it'd be much appreciated on my end. And I'm just a lonely old bodyguard down here, but needless to say, Casey's a good patriot, and I appreciate what he's doing down there, and all the patriots down there. We got to take care of each other. And remember one other thing, is we as Americans, and there's a saying, and it goes to the bone: united we stand, divided we fall. And one of the things that I stand by on that is, I don't have to like Casey. I don't have to give a shit about him. He don't have to give a shit about me. But we have the same mutual interest, and that is our country. And that's what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is stand by each other. Just like you've got coworkers you don't like, but you still work with them. You get the job done. It's the same principle. United we stand, divided we fall.
Absolutely. And that's what's ruined the country.
What's that, Casey?
We had again? Oh, go ahead.
I said absolutely, and that's what's ruining the country, is the division. You know, the government is the main divisors. They're breaking us apart by race, religion, financial worth. Yep. Absolutely. And that's what I keep trying to preach to people. Look, I'll stand side by side with any black man, any Hispanic man, anybody that is a true American that cares about the freedom of this country, because
Amen.
I believe in total freedom. I believe that everybody has the freedom and the right to do as they choose, as long as they're not infringing upon another. You know, I don't care what your preference is. You know, it's just like the drug wars. The drug wars have never been effective. All they've done is prove to incarcerate American citizens and to make the government and the police departments richer. They haven't made our country any safer, just like the gun laws. People don't understand criminals are going to be criminals no matter what. You cannot stop that. The only way we're going to make a difference to stop criminality is for swift and severe punishment. Just like in the old West days, you get caught raping somebody, your ass is hanging in a tree the next day. You
put him down like a bad dog.
You cold-bloodedly murder somebody, your ass is going to be swinging in a tree the next day. And you're going to be left there so everybody can come by and look and say, shit, I don't want to be that guy. But while we're playing all these pussy-ass crimes and slapping people on the wrist and putting child molesters and murderers in little comfy cells, feeding them 3 hots a day, that's bullshit. And until we start making people pay for their crime, you know, it's all geared for money. Everything is geared toward money, and we, the people, are getting screwed, while the politicians, the lawyers, the courts, the cops, they all get to make huge profits while we're all imprisoned.
Yep, that's how it is.
Well said.
Well, Bobby, I appreciate talking to you, Casey, and you keep doing what you're doing down there, but maybe we should take another caller, Bobby?
Yeah, Casey, go ahead and stand by with us, and then here, let me bring on. Let's see, who do we got here? 870 area code. Keith, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Well, I'm just going to chime in here on a couple areas, okay, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to start with the fact what Becky has started for the disability part, okay, and that is that we sit here and the government was supposed to give us priority and all this other bull for disabilities. And there's 60 million people here. It's never counted. When you see the unemployment rate, we're not included. Okay? We can't go to a school and get educated. I can talk firsthand from that. When I left school, I couldn't read, write, or spell. You know, what do you do with it? Okay? And I was going to say, on the other hand, you're talking about homeless people. 80% of the people who are homeless are disabled.
Yeah.
Okay? You're sitting here, you're talking about immigrants and all this argument. Over 60% of the people who are in HUD housing all illegal immigrants.
True. Yeah.
If we kick them out, we have plenty of room for the people who are homeless. All right? Let's talk about the second part of this. These guys all get brand new housing when they come up. Free internet, free cable, car, all this bull crap. What do we get for with the disability committee? Most of us live in World War II housing.
Right.
Now, where does this come from? Okay? Now let's talk about the fact that you get ready to bring them in by the planesful out of South America. Okay? Now let's talk about the other side. You're talking about the borders. You're talking about the other part. Let's go back. There's two things we can eliminate 90% of this problem. Okay? A, we have to, and it's already been done. There's almost a dozen counties across the country already doing this. And it's been very successful. Obama hates every one of them. It's called self-governing counties. It was the self-governing counties. You have people who make decisions what to do with the county. They had, for instance, the Broward County and Terry County. They had the deals over the weekend. The sheriff has final say in the county. We don't want you here. You're not lawfully able to be here or allowed to be here, and all this other. You have 30 seconds to get out of here. If not, we shoot to kill. That's how simple it is. It's done. It's over with. Okay.
Well, that's one of the things I was saying is we need to start electing and standing by our constitutional sheriffs, because the sheriff has the ruling law of the land in that area, and that's one of the things we're trying to do out here in Nevada is to get back to the roots of state sovereignty, and that the sheriffs need to step up to the plate and start taking care of business.
We're not talking state. We're talking county. You take
the counties are within the state.
Right, and then you start in and build, and then you build and eventually get to your state level. Correct. But it's got to start with the county. Okay? The second thing is there's a little law that most people are not familiar with. It's called Dillon's Home Rule. Okay? And you as individuals, the people, have the right to put the resolutions before the city council of what you want to happen. In other words, you don't want to have any immigrants in your county. You put that as a resolution before the city council. They refuse to do it. You get yourself a constitutional sheriff and say, fine, you don't want it? Treason. All of them out now. We re-elect our new city council.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we need to focus on, too, is start enacting term limits for members of office, because if they're corrupt and we can get to them within, a short 2 years or maybe a 3-year, time span, we can nip it in the bud a little bit quicker. But when we keep electing these guys unconditionally and not have term limits, these crooked guys they can stay in office longer and keep the system more corrupt as it is.
Well, I asked the question several times. Let me ask you the question. Where does it say the Constitution is a career deal to be in politics?
Say that again, you broke up. Where
does it say in the Constitution political deal is a career?
Yeah, it doesn't.
All right, so why do we even allow them to have a career in politics to begin with then?
Yeah, I'm just a simple guy. I can't have all the answers in the world.
I'm just asking the question. I think it's bullshit. Everybody else. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's complete bullshit.
It's the same principle. Let's wake up to reality and just sit down and say, okay, folks, you get automatically 2 terms, and that's it. It's done. It's over with.
Yep.
Okay. And the second thing is let's talk about all this pay that these guys get. Where's it say in the Constitution you're supposed to get paid to serve your country?
Oh no, yeah, that's another bullshit.
I mean, if you go back in history, most of these guys took it even on the federal level when we first started. These guys wouldn't accept any pay because they all had business. They had more than enough money to live on.
Oh yeah.
And now they get subsidized for their cars. They get subsidized for their clothing. They get subsidized for, and yet they're all multimillionaires now. If they can't afford the cars and all this bull crap, then I would suggest to them that they better start figuring out how to live with a better budget if they're multimillionaires.
Yeah, when the politicians are making more money than a soldier overseas fighting, that's just another prime example of what's the corruption there. You know what I mean?
You know, we just actually had a conversation about this. Myself, my wife, my family members, we were talking about it at lunch today. We were saying some of these athletes and some of these politicians and other people make way too much money. They're not risking their lives. Yep. Why the hell should a baseball player, basketball player, football player, I don't give a fuck what sport you talk about, why are they making the money that they make? They shouldn't be making that type of money. They're not risking their life. They're not a fireman going into a house, a burning house, trying to save a family.
Well,
they're not, a soldier overseas fighting a war.
Right, I agree. Yep. Tom Cruise, for instance, let's just use it as someone that we all know. Tom Cruise. Just to look at him to possibly do a movie is $30 million. That's what you got to get minimum. For what?
It's sick. It's sick. It's sick. There's no argument. It's sick.
Yeah, it is. Well, all we can do is hold on, because the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and I'm in for the ride. Everybody's talking. Well, Russia's threatening nukes and war this and war that. Fuck it, let's do it. Let's get it over with. I'm tired of hearing about it.
No, well, the bottom line is that and Becky knows me well enough to know. I'm sure Bobby will agree with me. If anyone wants to learn more about the self-governing, I have all the tools. I have all the docs. I have everything you need to do it. And I have no problem getting that information and sitting down and talking to somebody about it. Because that's one major way we can take and save this country.
Well, it sounds good to me.
Keith
if
is
you
very
want, look me up on
all aspects.
Yeah, if you want, look me up on Facebook under Booda, Booda Cavalier, Cavalier. Send me a friend request, and I'd like to talk to you more about this after the show, or at least on a later day.
Easier for you to find me. It's real simple. You look through Becky, and my name's Keith Jones, and you'll be able to find me.
Okay, sounds good. So it was a pleasure talking to you, and your input was highly valuable and appreciated. Do we want to take another call, Bobby, or what do we got going on?
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Keith, thanks. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the 714 area code. 714, who do we have?
Hey, how you doing, Bobby? It's Bill, D. Girolamo.
Hey, Bill, what's happening, brother?
How you been? Been a long time.
Yeah, doing good. We got Booda Bear on. Say hello to Booda.
How you doing, Booda? Thank you for your work.
Hey, no worries, man. I'm just doing what my mama taught me, what was, to protect innocent life and do what's right, and that's how we do it in the South, and that's the way I'm doing it now, and I'm trying to carry on that tradition, and I appreciate your acknowledgement.
Yeah, we were raised very much the same way. I come from a long line of sons and daughters of liberty, the American Revolution, even going back to the first two boats before them. So this whole situation we're in is important to me.
It should be important enough to every American.
Yeah. Unfortunately, most of them don't even know what the base of the importance is to cleave to in the first place, which is, it's as much our fault as the system that educates, because we've allowed it to get to that. We're not even requiring our own children to know our history, let alone, remember, immigration used to involve a whole process, and these people had to get schooled. They had to be able to speak the language properly, and they had to know the information about what America is and what it was to become an American. Yep. And they had to know it at a level that none of the kids today even have a clue about.
No, they don't actually. It's disgusting.
Yeah, before they could be granted citizenship, which is a lesser form of what we have the responsibility for, being rooted through the whole birth cycle and generations of being American.
Yep.
And the same, I understand the term limits, and that's something that I'm all in for. However, I see another side of that same coin, which is whether somebody gets to hold one term or 100 terms is what it all boils down to, what gives us what we look for if we elect somebody, and that is servitude. First, you have the constitutional premise that they agree to become of servitude too, which means, they don't like step into and become elected for a career. They sacrifice a career for servitude. They do that in exchange for benefits that we give them, which includes, a retirement package. but they give everything up for this exchange, including their liberty and their sovereign position to become the servant.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have any right to stand on. They have benefits, and they have some protections that we provide for them in exchange for their servitude. And hey, if you can get a guy who can, with millionaire aspirations, who has to sacrifice his earning and isn't entitled to utilize his servitude to make that living, they're not going to be in office too long. And if they're caught doing otherwise, well then, and if we're in a constitutional republic that we could actually operate having servants in these positions,
yeah,
then, you know, there's consequences to that. And I think that I'd really like to see the act of servitude put down before, you know, as like the front of the wave of term limits.
Yeah. Well, it's an uncompromising situation. I mean, it almost seems like when it comes to the political world, you're sleeping with the devil no matter what political field they're from. I mean, I'm for limited government, you know, like, you know, as Mr. Bundy famously says, limited government and making decisions as far as to what color to paint the post office walls, you know, goofy shit like that. But the simplicity of it is like you were saying, though, these term limits are, I mean, we got to nip it in the bud, because if they're corrupt, we can get them out sooner. But I honestly, I don't see it looking good either way.
You know,
I could sit here and go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I don't mind Satan wanting to sneak in and try to run for office, as long as he understands that he has to step upon the crucifix and swim in the holy water of the Constitution, if that's what he wants to try and do. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Because we just throw that away, or people just like talk about the Constitution like it's something, but they don't take it as a full blanket that it really is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're talking about allowing the worst molester into your child's room and then giving him the authority over that room. Nah, that's not the kind of stand you take as a parent. That's not the kind of tolerance you have over the violation of the Constitution that sets the premise for your nation as an American. You just don't.
Yeah.
And,
well, see, oh, man, this is a rabbit hole that goes so deep. I mean, we could end up in China by the time we're done talking about this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's literally, I mean, I was in a great mood, and then we started talking about this, and now I'm getting fucking nauseous because of all this crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
the
only thing that, yeah, I know. The only thing that interests me about politics, and this is maybe, this is only my perspective, first of all. Politics are good for a small degree, but once again, we've got to self-govern ourselves and within our states. It all starts there, and I mean, I don't even know if it's too late to even do this. The way the cookie's about ready to crumble, I'm more or less in it for the long haul, and the long haul consists of me gathering my weapons, stockpiling my food, and doing training with my fellow Americans to either put up the fight when it comes or survive. I mean, I don't even know how to word it properly, but we're fucked either way. Plain and simple. We could sit here and talk till we're blue in the face about what we want and what we should do, but it doesn't mean it's going to get it done. And it all starts with attacking the low-level fruit within the political societies. And like that other caller was saying, you know, electing sheriffs and that are responsible for the counties, because the sheriff can tell the feds, get the hell out of here. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to listen, but they actually are required to, because the sheriff runs the show. And if we keep inviting these sheriffs into office, I mean, a sheriff's job is to protect life, liberty, and property. It's self-explanatory. Life, liberty, that's it.
And his oath, right. Oh,
you know what I mean? And if they're not going to do it, then we got to can them.
That's right. A fully armed society, though, always comes down to that. A fully armed society has especially one that's unified and organized and in communication with itself, which, as Americans, you know, we grew up and people were much more knowledgeable of their neighbors and what's going on around here, and had better communications overall. They may not have been as knowledgeable then as they are today, but what does knowledge mean if it goes nowhere and it's communicated and not shared with anyone?
Yeah.
The point is that, we have these people who are elected, and sure, we try to elect the ones that are going to abide by the oath and do the job that we put them in there for, but we need to be fully armed and always in a position so that if somebody doesn't do their duty, that we not only can remove them, but that absolutely, regardless of what forces they have decided to muster to keep themselves rooted, that we can get through that. Or
and that's actually very true. The other man, it's such a rough topic. These people that we
line, they already know. They already know that we're at it right now. We're standing on it. So
there's a line in the sand. There's a line in the sand that's been drawn by us, we the people that are good, God-fearing people, that just live right. There's a line in the sand, and on this line of the sand is we the people, and on the other side is the bureaucracies. And we already know what happens if we follow the bureaucracies. Socialist society, blah, 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 blah. That we could go on and on about that side of the fence. But on our side of the fence, there's only one thing that's important to me, and it's the person I'm willing to lay my life down for and with is on the same level as me. If you're not on the same level as me, I don't want nothing to do with you. Whether you're a sheriff and a fucking ice cream man, I don't give a shit. If you don't have good common moral sense and fabric about your life and your moral compass does not point true and north, I don't want a damn thing to do with you, especially if you're in office. And we need to start electing officials, like I said, that are going to have our best interests in hearts. But we always get the wool pulled over our eyes. As far as that, we got an oligarchy. It's just, I'm getting frustrated. So this one day at band camp,
we need to definitely be the employer over the hire. The person responsible for those we elect, the boss.
Well,
and it'll make everything a lot easier.
Well, the ones that we elect, okay, let's say, like I said earlier in the show, if I promise you this and promise you that, and I don't do the job, I get fired. And if I don't get fired, then I get reelected, whose fault is it? It's we the people. We the people, not all of us, but we the people are responsible for these dipshits we put into office because we get the wool pulled over our eyes. It's all a big fucking magic trick. It's sleight of hand.
And we don't do anything about it, and that we allow it.
It's all sleight of hand. Look what's going on over here. Meanwhile, they got their hands so far up your ass, you're the puppet, and all you do is just sit there and hold on to the ride.
I like your earlier analogy with the geologist.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my old ones, too, man. I've always said something goofy like that. I'm going to shove my foot so far up your ass, you're going to need an archaeologist to dig it out.
Well,
that's where the government's at with it right now. They've got our throats held down on the ground with their foot on top of our throats and just grinding us down on the ground saying, basically, you guys aren't shit. What you believe in is shit. Your God is shit. Your morals are shit. And I'm telling you that that's not the way I was brought up. And everybody that I'm assuming is on this radio show feels the same way. That we're getting fed up with it. Now, I'm not constituting that we all just take up arms and run around and start shooting people because nobody wants that. I mean, we've got fathers, mothers, women, and children and stuff that we don't need to bring bloodshed on their doorstep. But I'm telling you, the way the world's getting ready to crumble, it's going to happen sooner or later. And all I need to know is that I'm right with my God.
Yeah, and given the position that we're in right now, where we're at, with unifications necessary, getting the communities, the neighborhoods, the militias, patriot groups, the 3%ers, the every form, the Oath Keepers, and everybody together. You've had some closer relationships with Oath Keepers than some people. You've had some greater differences with Oath Keepers than some people. But given the state of where we are right now and the unification necessity for what we mutually have in common, do you think that you've mended most of the fences so that you guys could be completely embraced to where when you back up and you see one another that you are fully confident that you have each other's backs and that we could start empowering one another to constantly be stronger and expansive today than, say, a couple of years ago?
And that's actually very true. Okay, we all know that Booda had a temper tantrum when the Oath Keepers were out here, and a couple of them left for reasons that I don't care to get into. But and one of my really dear friends of mine, and I'm not going to say anybody's name, one of my dear friends of mine told me that those are guns for us and there's guns against us. Now, I don't necessarily have to agree with the decision that occurred out here at the ranch with the Oath Keepers, but I do know that there's some hard-hitting, badass sons of bitches within that organization. And I put my pride aside, and I made a personal phone call to some high-ranking members within that organization, and I said, hey, sorry about that. I did have a temper tantrum. I was a little pissed off, But at the same time, we all have to put our differences aside. Like I said earlier in the show, I don't have to like you. It's not like you're going to come over to my house for a fucking Christmas party. But I have to know that you're trained to do what's right and your moral compass is right. Now, I don't necessarily have to agree with everything. You like Ford, I like Chevy. It doesn't matter. But we still have to function as a unit together. Just like united we stand, divided we fall. And I encourage every member in every state to seek out a militia group that's a reputable one, not some fat beer-bellied sons of bitches drinking Schlitz malt liquor talking about, I'm going to push over the government and shoot every man I see. I'm not trying to talk about all that. We need good, like-minded individuals to represent us, because you hear the name militia nowadays, it's got a stigmata on it. It's a mark of shame, and people are like, ooh, militia this, militia that. You can call me whatever you want. Militias have a bad name because of some of those dumbasses.
Yeah, they started hammering that bad stigma on it really hard back when I first was getting introduced to it in the late 70s, early 80s. You had Bo Greitz and stuff, and I used some of his constitutional people to do some things for me when I denounced the corporate signature and reestablished my American status. Back in Simi Valley and some of the caves that he had back there, as well as his other properties that we won't go into. But they're trying to kind of redo that again with the stigmata, this bad tag on what militia is.
They're trying to discredit us and give us a mark of shame or demonize us. And that's a tactic. I mean, that's what you try to do in a wartime situation. You try to discredit your opponent to gain public opinion and favor. And that's what the government's doing. They're trying to play the other citizens that are the sheeple, the sheep that are still out there. They're trying to play them against us because of their mark of shames that they're giving us. So they're sheep. They're going to follow any goddamn hand that feeds them. And we need to provide, us as citizens, we need to provide people an alternative to say, you can think of me that way, but this is the person you're making a judgment on. The person that's going to pull over your car or pull over to help you when your car breaks down. I changed a front tire on a lady's car the other day in my local town, and she wanted to give me money. I'm like, no, ma'am, I don't need that. Well, what did you do this for? Because it's right. Little things like that. Your post office worker, there's so many people out there that are in this movement that are good people that people don't even make a judgment call on because they think the government labeled them as. If you didn't see me with all my heavy tattoos and all my weaponry and all my bodyguard experience and such, you would think, oh, this is a nice person. But no, you see the tattoos. That's my own choice because I was a famous tattoo artist at one time. But nonetheless, you don't judge a book by its cover. And I'm the prime example of it. You guys are speaking to me. A lot of your listeners don't even know what I look like. When you look at my Facebook pages and pictures, you're like, this guy's a fucking lunatic. Huh?
The nickname should say it all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but knowing me is worth a lot more. And I encourage everybody that's listening to the show to think about the next person next to you. Like, well, I might not like him, but at least he's not out raping and touching little boys and shit like that. You know what I mean? There's those fucking nutcakes need to be assassinated. But anyway,
you talked about something a little bit ago when we were talking about the unification and some of what happened. I'm not going into the Oath Keepers situation. I'm going into circumstances that could be like any silhouette name or group of people. But with unification of patriots, there's decisions and beliefs and particulars or actions that will be taken that we disagree with. And they can be worked around. And you were talking about guns for you and guns against you. With the good of the people and what we are doing and from our side and position, there will always be more good guns than bad. Our unification will give us the strength so that we can deal with the guns against us, the bad. What we have to look for, and you did. You got irritated and you went back and you made an apology. Hopefully some of those people, they did the same for you. But you did notice something. I know you did. I've never heard you talk about it, but maybe you have. There were people around you. They may not have been your closest friends. You might have only just met them while you went to Bundy Ranch. But there were people around you who instigated your anger. Yeah, you should do this. Fuck those guys. Excuse my language. And created a division and a separation that blew broader and farther apart than it needed to at that time, even with disagreement. But there were people that had encouraged the separation rather than the rebonding.
There was provocateurs here. We all know that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of those, but
some of those guys have traveled between your efforts and Casey Massey's down in the border.
Yeah, I've been. See, that's the thing. I might be the quiet guy out here on the ranch that doesn't do much, but I pay attention to a lot. I got a lot of friends here, a lot of friends there. Done a lot of this, done a lot of that, and you're right. Those provocateurs bounced. It almost seems like they pulled up and dragged out of the ranch and went straight to the border. But nonetheless, we have to stand vigilant and just get ready for what's coming. And we've been chatting on this for a little while, Bobby. I don't know if there's another caller we could maybe take and get into.
Yep.
But you know what? Here, let me look and see. I don't think that there is. I know there's a lot of people on here listening.
Okay.
If anybody would like to get involved in this conversation, please go ahead and raise your hand and let us know that you would like to get in here. I mean, we've got a ton of people on here listening. Actually, yeah, there goes some hands up now. Here, let me, Bill, stand by and let me bring this caller in from the 870 area code. Who do we have?
You have Libby.
Hey, Libby, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you all today?
We're doing very well, dear.
We're doing good.
Welcome aboard.
Well, Becky and I are pretty close, and I've been doing some research to try to find out where, what's happened to us to make us such a divided country, and I'm getting a lot of really good information. I'm going to tell you guys some stuff that please don't burn the messenger here, but there's some things that's going to knock your socks off that I didn't even know. Anyway.
I live in America. Nothing can knock my socks off now.
Well, this will make your head in anyway.
Hey, Libby, let me cut in for a second. Libby and Keith are very, very close friends, and they do a lot of investigating together. Libby shares a lot of information with us. She works so hard. She works very hard on uncovering information. So just to give you a little bit of info about her. Okay, go ahead, Libby.
Okay, well, Libby, it's a pleasure to meet you, and you have the floor now, hon.
Yes. Well, I stayed up till 3 o'clock this morning reading documents from a judge in Alaska that's been trying to do some things to get our country back to where it should be. And there's two words I want you guys to remember: identity and purpose. You've got to understand what your true identity is here. You've been told you're an American citizen, a U.S. citizen, blah, 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 blah. But up till yesterday, I didn't realize there were three governments flowing here. And I'm going to describe them to you. The first one is called the United States of America with a small u on the United. It's referred to as being major, meaning it was the first one, which that goes back to our 50 organic states in Union and the Confederacy. That's the real McCoy here. It's never went away. It's been usurped by a corporation that came in and shoved it aside. The next government is the corporation. It's called the United States of America, and it's referred to as minor because it's not as great as we are. We're the majors. And then there's a third one, and it's called insular states. And what they've replicated all 50 states in all of these three governments and gave them different purposes to do. The insular states are the ones registered at the UN. So there's a whole 50 states of America registered at the UN that the UN thinks they've got control over, so they can dictate to us over here as the true citizens. And they can't. They don't have authority over us. It's a fraud. Okay? Now, we've got to go back and claim our true identity on the land. And that identity is called an American state citizen. Our flag is the civil flag that Lincoln flew. It's the peace flag. It doesn't go horizontal. It goes vertical, red and white stripes down. and I think the Confederacy even had a little. No, Native American had an eagle in the corner of it. But we've got to understand where we get our power from. When you said something about civilian arrest,
from
as
our blood,
an American state citizen, and you claim that, you do have that power. And that sheriff does have to pay attention to what you're doing, because you are the true people on the land. Right now, they're confused out there because they don't know who's who. They don't know what's going on. There's not been anybody to explain to them what's happened here. Now, what's happening is the U.S. citizens, the federal ones that live up in D.C., whatever, wherever they live at, and then the insular states are all bankrupt. They've bankrupted themselves. And they put us in, as you all know about straw man, they put us in making us think that we have to pay their debts. Well, we don't. We didn't make the bill. They did. That's already went to the World Court. The World Court has said the people did not make this debt. You created it. You're the corporation. But they're trying to make you guys and all of us think that we are indebted to that corporation up there. No, sir, we're not. We don't owe them a dime.
Right.
They need to get the hell out of our land.
What you're talking about right here, Libby, I actually did this back up. I started it in '82, and I actually filed all the documents in 1984. We still are down the road to this point to where it's being violated at a much more rapid, greater rate than it has throughout all of the history prior.
Right.
And at this particular point, these things are facts, and they can all be looked back upon. But if we try to use this going forward, as I started back in the early 80s, and expect to survive what's happening right now, it's nice to put this in a front room instead of being locked in a back closet so people can refer to it. But I think that we have to really get to that point of being our own muscle and taking our country back, because all of this crafting and all of the voodoo doesn't really matter at this point.
Well, that's true, but at the same time, we're going to be limited on what we can do.
No, we're not. How are we limited? I really want to. I meant to ask this before when you first were reading these, but I stayed out because I wanted you to finish what you started and do the whole show like you did, to have it heard. But I need to ask, how are we limited? How do we have to use their crafting, which isn't reality, but crafting, in order to have our power? Don't we just have our power and we limit it if we decide to play? If we decide to play with their crafting,
under the Constitution for America, which is the true Constitution for the people on the 50 states, the organic states, we have every right to do everything we want to do on the land. And you have every right to be down at them borders, protecting them borders, because that is a violation for us. You have every right to be there. They're the ones that don't have the right to be there. But that's what they don't understand. They're the ones that are in vagrant violation of our rights. Now, judge that Becky told you about, okay? She filed I think it was a mandamus. I'm not real sure on the names because, like I said, I was up till 3. She filed a document with the Alaska Supreme Court stating that she wanted NDAA taken away, and she wanted the Defense Act taken away. She took it to the courthouse. The clerk denied her the right to be able to inject that into the court. She didn't stop her. She didn't stop her.
When you put something in front of them that's going to counter them, you got to remember you're going in front of. Well, it's going to probably start off in a state court, but how can you get proper justice on the injustices that are being pushed down upon us in a federal court?
Well,
that's like going to your boss and complaining about your boss's boss.
Okay, this woman is an attorney for the Pope. Okay.
It doesn't really matter. But go ahead.
She knows what the Catholic Church has done to America. Yeah, she does, because she's got a document telling them that they are liable for everything that's happened here to this country, to the people, to all of us, that they are liable. And the Pope right now is trying to make changes because he's backtracking real quick because he knows he's liable for it.
Oh, what are you going to do? Get a settlement from him?
You know what? Yeah, all hell's going to break loose.
An invalid system and a guy wearing a coat and for this particular play act, he's going to be called pick any freaking name, and he could represent call a pope or whoever else wears a robe or any other figure in history, and so therefore you have to follow particular rules or this has to be altered or changed. No, all of that gets thrown away. It does.
Well,
you don't have to cater to it. You don't have to cater to it. You don't have to play their game. You talk about the land. The land is very specific. The Constitution was formed for the land. All the rest of that sea, that statute, that maritime admiralty crap, it belongs out in the sea. You don't have to deal with it. You don't have to play with any of those games. You don't have to know. You don't have to know how they came over and did these things in a manner where you have to play it too. If you know these things, it's like, yeah, so what? Sweep your arm back out to the water with it and deal with the land. And the only way they can deal with us is on this land also. We have to quit playing the bullshit games and these procedures and these statutes and this form and the small U and the capital U. We have a Declaration of Independence. We have the original Constitution, and we have all of the documents, the Federalist and Non-Federalist, and all the other papers that went to it. We have the original references which go back 1,000 years in history. If somebody can't understand the spirit from all of that, then let them be clueless. But the point is that we don't alter the land for anybody. If they want to make changes, let them find their own little piece of land, circle themselves in, and they can live with whatever changes they want. But they can't inflict and enforce them on the rest of us. It can't happen. This nonsense has to stop. I wasted years of my life earlier, 4 years ago doing this, or 30 years ago, whatever it was.
I'm just trying to say that this woman has made an effect, and she has been able to get some of the corporate government understanding that they don't have anything here. In other words, what she's doing is basically supporting you guys by what she's doing. She's tearing down their little world.
Yeah, but I don't need
they understand.
Well, blue whales don't have feathers and wings either.
Do what?
Good luck.
I don't need a quote to tell me that blue whales don't have feathers and wings either.
I know, but you're not. I mean, I appreciate it. Not everybody else out there knows the truth. Not everybody out there knows what's happened to them. All they see is you got set and you go to the borders and you got your guns, you're going to shoot. So they want to think bad about you, and it's not true. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do.
Well, if that person that you're speaking about has got a leg to stand on, then I wish her the best of luck, and we'll see how it fares out.
Okay, well, I hope so too. I really hope that it'll all work out. I know that there is a group called the Grand Army of the Republic that is attached with the military that do believe that the people on the land are the true inhabitants of America and the United States of America. I mean, for America, and that they are the 50 states in union, and they're going to be backing that. Now,
all right, well, let's see how it plays out. I mean, everybody's talking the talk, but I don't see enough walking the walk.
Well, there's other military that are trying to do what corporate wants them to do. And that's the bad guys. That's the guys surrounding the nation.
You're preaching to the choir here, honey.
You know what? Let me say something, and I don't want to sound ignorant to the fact or anything, but we have been doing more talking than we could ever imagine. I mean, we've been talking, and I'm not just talking about us. I'm talking about the world in general in the United States. We've been talking about this so damn long. I mean, we need to stand up and do something about it. This is driving me nuts because I get a headache from it sometimes. That I mean, all these people want to do so much, but what do? I mean, they share information. Whatever you dig up, Libby, whatever anybody digs up, they share it. That's all they do. They don't put boots on the ground. They don't go out to anything and support it. They don't show force. They don't do anything. All they do is sit at their internet or on their telephone and share whatever information they get, and that's it. That's the extent of it. They don't go out and say there's something going on, that might make a difference in D.C. or something like that. They don't go put boots on the ground. It's been proven so many times. Look at Operation this, Operation that, whatever. 500
What happened out here?
50 people.
Hey, Bobby.
Right, okay. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
Well, what happened out here? What happened out here was boots on the ground.
Well, I do want to say what Keith said about the town. That's very important. That is key to be able to be recognized as your 50 states in union. That's a very key issue. Now, I did learn something last night because we've all been up to the Department of Education. I learned this last night that the Department of Education in the de facto corporate government run up there is actually run by the Rothschilds because they do endowment investing, and they set up their foundation so they can control the curriculum of not only the schools but the libraries and also the universities. So that's one of the reasons we got to get back to town schooling is because the town people decide what kind of education their children will have. It's brought because the town has come together, and the law enforcement, which is the sheriff, helps support the people of that town, and the constable works with the militias, the unregulated militias, to make sure the people are protected in being able to come together to review this situation. And the people, that's where your true form of republic government starts, is right there with the people.
A true form of republic was lost long ago.
Well, it might have been, but it can be rebirthed because it starts with the people.
Only through the shedding of blood will it be rebirthed.
It can be rebirthed, but not through their game plans and not through their courts. They've crafted away from the laws that pertain to us anyway. We don't have to play in accordance with theirs at all.
We can do everything without the system.
There's only been 2 times in the last 2 years.
If we remove them from our country, it doesn't matter.
There's only been 2 times in the last 2 years that our country has stood up. The first time was at Bundy Ranch. The second time was in Texas when they had that little event going on that they wanted to do that Muslim, whatever thing that they had going on, and Texas stood up. But that's the only 2 times, Bundy Ranch and in Texas.
Right. Yeah, but at the same time, we still consented to the parameters that were left to us to fight within. And Casey Massey's a victim of that also.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
We have to, that's why I say fully armed societies, fully armed people who, at their local level, at every level on this land, stand up for it. That game and these restrictions that don't belong. There's only 18 enumerated powers, not 18,000 that have been assumed and that we've granted through submission to follow.
Right.
We're at that point. The next time the Bundy Ranch takes place isn't going to just be a county matter. It's a state matter. It's a national matter. It's a republic matter. And it does matter, and people have to stand up for that and get the crafting out of the way. Why, if a guy's punching you in the face, do you have to run around in circles 4,000 times to punch him back? That's just ridiculous. We can't... The crafting and crafting is our greatest disabler right now to us getting to the point of resolving our republic. And the longer we play into it, regardless of the families and the history, the farther down the road to not being able to do anything about it we are going.
The next time that they come in, pretty well said, Bill. The next time that they come in and they're trying to do anything, the point that they're going to make, there's going to be bloodshed. Okay, because it's going to be somebody from one side or the other that's going to say this is real now. Okay, this isn't a drill. Yep. This isn't anything else. This is real. Okay, so
it'll
it's
go
sad
hot.
to say, but and I have a feeling it's going to go hot real quick.
That's if they choose to finally quit pretending that it's different and just make it an all-out assault. If they quit pretending that that's not what they're doing already and fire on us, and it'll be that. But if we have our militias fully united with all of our communities and our society of people in this republic who stand up and put arms there and say, no, this isn't going to happen, you guys have to leave, they can leave. They can leave, and we're on our way. If they choose to say, oh, okay, we're not pretending anymore, this is what we really intend to do all along and start fighting, well, then that's what we're up against anyway, people. It's just a matter of, do we just, sit back and lay back and let them just do it anyway, because they're going to. If they do that and they don't leave, that's a sure sign that, well, this is the plan anyway, and this is what they're going to do. How much of our unification and our inaction do we allow to disable us or not to do something about it? That's entirely up to us at this point.
Right now, we're stuck in a situation where our current government, which, we like to think is a republic, it's so long lost. We're in an oligarchy right now. It's a form of government which is the power is invested in a few people or in a dominant class of people, a state or organization so ruled. I mean, we're in an oligarchy right now, and the only way oligarchies have been dealt with is through bloodshed. Do your research, find out. I don't want it. Yeah, I'd like to wake up and go eat a hammy sandwich and some cupcakes and think, oh, okay, cool, peaches and cream. Somebody found out a rule that's going to make the government go to a federal court and be ruled against themselves. I mean, I'm not buying it. It ain't going to happen. The cookie's going to crumble, and we better hope you have some milk to dunk your cookie in, because it's not getting any better. And that's what I was going into stating earlier. We need to start being a little bit more vigilant on what they might do, like Jade Helm, all the false flags and all the stupid shit that's going on. We've got to prepare for that. To sit here and talk for the next 2 hours about what forms of research somebody did and say that they can counter a Vatican ruling or whatever, let's just see how far that gets people. And we all
don't matter.
Yeah, they don't. It matters to me because somebody did the research and found it, and it's very enlightening, but they're not going to listen to it. These people, we're beyond listening. We're well past that point now, ladies and gentlemen. We're at a point now.
Or catering to it even.
Or catering to it. We've catered to it. Honestly, I'm 43. Even when I was younger, I catered to it, being young in my political career. Or not political career, but in political knowledge. I've given way to some of it, too. And now it's just to the point now where there's no more giving way. The only thing that's going to give way is violence, and I don't want that. I pray to my Lord every day, if not every day, every other day, that this will not result in bloodshed. But oligarchies are only overthrown by bloodshed. Enough said.
Well, meanwhile, people on this... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, look at KC. Casey was just doing, what he felt was right, standing down on the border, trying to stop the illegals from coming in, so on and so forth. And it was a border patrol that fired upon them. The border patrol.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Bobby, you've heard me talk before about, certain things about restoring the republic, which includes going directly against the IRS, their bank that they work for, and all of this crap. People are always bringing up the Rothschilds. They put all kinds of names to it. The Vatican, the Illuminati, all of this stuff, all of this crap they bring up. I don't care who they are. I really don't. We just quit paying into them. And more so, we confiscate everything that they've stolen. Everything. And we don't hold value in their currencies, their rules, and their internationalism at all. As America, we get back to our own self, our own value. We make our own money to be used as a utility and not an instrument, and we've taken their power away. If we confiscate all the property that they foreclosed and claimed for their own, and put it in a reformed treasury under a republic back to the people again, we get all of that wealth back. That includes all their corporations, all their intellectual property, all of their everything. And you take that power away. If a watchout still wants to stand up and say, I have this and I'm all of that, no, you don't. You're a mafioso. You're just a common frickin' criminal with a lot of family history and a few hundred years of practice. But that practice only pays off if people abide by it. If they give in, if they give you your 20 pieces or whatever the hell it is, those rules don't apply to us, and their wealth isn't theirs. It's what they've stolen from us. All of our resources and all of it. We don't have to oblige it, and we don't have to let them keep it. It doesn't mean anything. And people, the IRS, I mean, come on. They've done things that the mafia is obviously jealous of.
Yeah,
Why
no shit
in
there.
the hell give them a frickin' penny? If all of us say, nope, sorry, and all of us defend one another, if they try to crack down on any of us, well, if that's where the war starts, let it be.
Yep.
But
all the IRS stands for is Internal Rape Service.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we remove a lot of power from them as soon as we disregard them entirely and completely.
Yeah. Well, guys, do we have any more callers, Bobby?
Let's see here. Actually, Becky dropped off and she just came back in. Don't know if she's got something she wants to add, but other than that, we have other callers online. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm out here at the ranch, and my cell phone feels like it's getting ready to blow up in my hand right now. It's so damn hot, and my battery's starting to die. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and bow out, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you guys for coming and inviting me onto your show. And I'd like to thank your listeners for weighing in and just paying attention to what we've been talking about. And Casey, keep doing the good work down there, brother. We'll keep our eyes peeled on you and see what's going on and pay attention down there. What's going down there at that border. But if you guys ever want me on the show again, you have my number, Bobby, and feel free to call me or set up an appointment anytime you'd like.
Hey, Booda,
absolutely, brother.
I thank you again. I look forward to meeting you soon, and I'll introduce myself to you when I show up. The name is Bill D. Girolamo. Think of Geronimo, and you'll know who I am when I say hi to you.
Just say Geronimo. Yeah, just say Geronimo, and I'll catch you from there. And I'd like to encourage all of our listeners to stay political and stand vigilant. And remember one thing above all else: united we fall. United we stand, divided we fall, and the government wants to divide us. And
I was going to say, I'm not ready to fall.
Yeah, right. But anyways, if any of your listeners would like to keep up on what's going on out here at the Bundy Ranch, you can look me up on Facebook, Booda, Booda, last name Cavalier, Cavalier, and I usually give updates on what's going on out here at the ranch, and this will help debunk some of the people out there that are always putting up posts saying, oh, you guys are getting raided and all this and all that. I'm boots on the ground out here. I have proper intel, and I can accommodate any questions you might have about the ranch. So direct them towards me. And once again, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys, and I look forward to talking again sometime.
Hey, Booda, can I ask you one question before you go?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
Not too long ago, there were several delegates from the Arizona state government who were out there. Was that beneficial for you guys, and was it inspiring at all to see?
It was inspiring for me because I'm from Arizona. I lived in the Phoenix Valley for quite some time, and then I moved up to the beautiful town of Prescott. And it meant a lot to me to have those representatives here and the political figures that did show up to help us in this stand. That might have actually deterred any kind of negative action to occur out here. But at the same time, I also have to hope that they came out here for the right reasons, such as that, not to further their political career.
Did it affect thinking of any of the Nevada representatives at all?
I can't really speak on that. I mean, a lot of people like the fact that Arizona came to the, I'm not going to say the rescue, but to the call of arms. And a lot of Nevada representatives since then, over this past year, have been fighting for our rights here in the state of Nevada, and that's why we've got the new bill that we went to Carson City to propose, the AB 404. A lot of Nevadan political officers are starting to step up to the plate, and I'd like to think maybe it's because Arizona helped that out. Arizona maybe came out here and helped Nevada politicians realize that they can stand within their own state. I mean, that's the way it should be. I was actually kind of disappointed. I think I was kind of disappointed that Nevada didn't have such a strong showing of political figures that came out here. It took Arizona to do it. Yeah. But nonetheless, it was done. It's in the past, and all we're doing out here is enjoying our freedoms and enjoying our liberties out here on this range. And I'll keep everybody up to date that follows me on Facebook with me and Cliven's Adventures. We always got crazy stories to tell, so and also too, this will help with the people like, I wonder what's going on at the Bundy Ranch. Well, go to my page, you'll find out, and you'll hear from somebody who's actually on boots on the ground, not some dude in South Wisconsin talking about the ranch is getting raided, I heard. And then you're like, well, where'd you get this intel from? Well, my buddy works at 7-Eleven, and his milkman said it. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Absolutely.
You know?
We appreciate it, brother. And anybody that wants to see what Buddha looks like, go to Vice on HBO, and the one that they did about the militia just recently, Buddha is one of the people that they interviewed for the longest period of time.
How did that actually go? I've never even seen it yet.
It's good, dude. It's good. It's real good.
It was fun in his paddling pool before work today. We didn't want him in the sun, so that's why he was in the driveway on a rug. Don't judge.
As long as I look good on camera, you know, I've been trying to lose a few pounds, so. Now, that lady the Vice News came out, and she was a nice lady, and I haven't even had a chance to see that report yet.
I just added you as a friend, Buddha. This is Bill DiGirolamo. I just added you as a friend on Facebook, so we can go from there.
Let me go check right now. I got my computer open right now. All right, there. I got you, brother.
All right, good.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to have to let you go because I think I got a nuclear bomb getting ready to blow off in my hand right here. This cell phone's so damn hot. It's hotter than the Chinese and the fucking Russians right now.
There you go.
Okay, everybody. Everybody take care of yourselves, read your Bible, say your prayers, and even if we can't get our country back the right way, at least we'll die with honor. So you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Good night.
All righty, bye-bye. Bye-bye. That was Booda Bear Cavalier. For any of you that didn't know, Booda Bear, you know, one hell of a guy. He's, like he said, he's closest to Cliven Bundy. He's Cliven Bundy's personal bodyguard. If you want to know any information about what's going on out at the Bundy Ranch, there's nobody closer to Cliven Bundy than Carol Bundy, and nobody closer than Buddha except for Carol Bundy. So there you guys go. So here we are.
Yay. That was good.
Yeah, it was very good. I was glad to have him on.
I like talking with him.
We still sit in the car.
Yep. Yeah, he's very, very good at what he does. And you know, he adapted to the family very well, and he felt that he wanted to stay out there with them all that time, and he's been there ever since.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I want to apologize also to Libby for being a little bit harsh. I spent a lot of time into what she's like uncovering now, and I saw the trap in playing into it at this particular point of where we're at with our republic. So I apologize, Libby, if I came across harsh or rude. I'm really sorry. I'm glad you're seeing that now. Like I said, bringing that information into a front room that's well lit is a good thing, but you know, out of the back, but to act on it or to depend upon it for our actions right now has proven to be a big trap that steers us astray with forcing them to deal with the ground that we're on, rather than within the ground they created, or the waterway that they've created on our land, I should say.
Right. A couple things I want to touch on. I want to thank everybody that's been sharing our podcast. Our numbers are growing like crazy. 2 weeks ago, my Friday night show I had about 4,000 listeners. Very, very good. Last Friday's show, I had 14,000 listeners last Friday's show. Now,
wow, that's really good.
It was a terrible show. In the beginning, I didn't even know I was online, but we had some good conversations. You, me, Wilbur, so on and so forth. 14,000 listens. I want to thank and I appreciate everything that everybody's been doing to help this show grow. Okay? Without you guys, we are nothing. So that's that. Yep, and we're going to start doing here pretty soon. We've had some people that talk to us about advertising, so it's something that we're contemplating doing here, and we've been working on some new audio and stuff like that to to change it up a little bit and have some new intros and everything. But that's about it. So how's things going with the ViroGuard?
It's been a little bit tough. My primary, it's really important, but my primary heart, my soulscape is in our Patriot movement, and I tend to neglect the business aspects of ViroGuard for my Patriot involvement, which they were supposed to be more hand in hand. I think that what I started warning people about a couple of years ago, and the reason I started ViroGuard will show its ugly face at some point. If it does become a war or it does become a fight, because there are so many of us who have guns that they'll use viruses to battle us, and if we can't do anything about it, that's one way we could lose. It's not enough to just fear bullets. It's enough to fear what they can inflict on us while they sit back and watch while we become so disabled we can't even fire bullets. But I have a lot of friends even that I grew up with that are constantly on Facebook, oh, I'm so sick, I've been sick for weeks, and it's like, wow, you don't have to be. I've given so much ViroGuard away for free that it's financially crippled me, and it seems that everybody's been really up on, me giving it to them, and they see the results, but that a majority of the people just, and believe me, if I had the money still, or if I could win a lottery, I would give it to everybody, especially in the Patriot, the prepper groups of every sort, because that's basically what it's for. But, it trumps what these gigantic chemical corporations who own all the big pharma groups who are members of the bank, you want to talk about the Rothschilds and all of that. These are their power and money arms that they hope to rule the world with. This is one way that I was able to support the Patriots and help them defend against the things that can be squashed down upon them, and to fight this illegal commerce, this limiting of us. So hopefully more people will get on board with the fact that this is a real science that actually does in the body counter virus cells. It makes them inert. You can't get sick from a virus if you have these living molecules in your body. It's just the way it is.
Sure.
It's just the way it is.
Right.
You had gotten yourself a little bit sick and gotten a hold of some ViroGuard. What were the results for you?
Well, it started off for me where I was just coughing, and I was coughing a lot, and that's what my main problem was for a while. And then I was having a problem talking, so I was taking the ViroGuard not the way that you told me to take it. So in the beginning it didn't work, and then all of a sudden I took it the way you told me to, and it worked.
Yeah, and what about your arthritis?
Nothing. I didn't feel any, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that part was really amazing. Real amazing.
Well, see, so I'm attacking Big Pharma on two fronts. As an anti-inflammatory, Mother Nature's most powerful, and as a true viral fusion inhibitor, something that breaks the ability for viruses to infect and interact within the human body. And they don't like that. And so, there's my target on my back, which to me is secondary to the target as a patriot, because that's what everything that I am doing stems from, is my patriotism, including putting this to the people, this ViroGuard, VFI humic acid, putting that to the people. So,
right.
They're my two targets, one on the front, one on the back, and I don't care. I'm here.
Right. Okay, well, that's awesome that, that it worked out pretty well for me, especially for the arthritis type stuff. I like being pain-free, and, I don't take any type of pain medication, so, I stopped taking that stuff years ago, even though, it's sometimes I wish that I did, but it is what it is.
Yeah, one of my customers has rheumatoid arthritis, and it's so bad that she had a hospital bed brought into her house with all the rails and all the electronics to sit up. when she was able to get out of bed, she had the bed enabled and to roll over to get out and use walkers and stuff. But it was so bad that they were even trying chemotherapy and all of these other steroid injections and all these other things that were causing big problems for her. And within 5 days, she was out of bed on her own. And within 10 days, she was going out and hunting. This is a lady who lives in northeast Louisiana, out hunting with her husband again. And since she started taking Viagra, she's been onto that regularly ever since. And she's no longer getting injections. Her rheumatologist and other people are looking into the Viagra right now because they can't explain, nor have they seen these types of results within a person that they tended to ever. And this person has been tended by them for at least 6 years. So she had results within 5 days, and within 10 days was going back to her early life. So rheumatoid arthritis is also a virus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's a bad one, too. I mean, for anybody who has it or knows anybody who has it, it's a crippler.
Right.
And it usually leads to all of these drugs and narcotics, which have other effects in the body with toxins and heavy metals and all the rest that Viagra also helps clean out because it chelates as it exits your system.
Well, we're going to have to bring you back on sometime and, talk about it, and maybe we can generate something. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna call it a show and get back to the Easter weekend beginning. With this being Good Friday and everything, I'm not really used to this going on. I wonder what the hell that noise is. It must be Becky. Becky, is that you?
It's me. I apologize. I'm in the car and it's a little bit noisy. I just unmuted my phone. I want you guys to know at 2 p.m. tomorrow we're going to have Brother Aaron Stair on. I'm still going to confirm that. But as it sits, 2 p.m. tomorrow, Rage Against the Regime. Aaron Stair, he's gone down and been guard on the Texas border and the Arizona border. And he's reporting that the incident is not isolated, that the gentleman experienced in Texas a couple of days ago, that this is something that's frequent and ongoing. And we want to get word out to the Patriots. Listen, this is still your state. We still have the right to defend and protect if need be with deadly force. So keep that in mind when you're on the border defending my right to live safely in my state.
Good. Hopefully we can start hearing more about what's happening in New Mexico also, because that's still kind of a black hole on the border there.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Aaron can give us some light on that. So it's going to be 2 p.m., Rage Against the Regime tomorrow. Aaron's there, and I look forward to seeing everybody. Bobby, what a great show, brother, and Booda was an excellent guest. I propose that we have him on again. That was a good interview.
Okay, and just so you know, Becky, I have a new intro that's actually on the board. You can listen to it tomorrow before you want to play it, if you want to play it, but I had a new one made, so.
Okay.
You can play it as our exit.
You know what? I can't get it to work properly. I don't know why. So, like right now, my board is not up correctly, and I don't know why. It's not showing me any music. This thing is crazy. It's unreal. I mean, I don't even know why it does half the shit it does, but it would be nice to be able to do that, but for some reason it's not, I can see the music sitting here on my right-hand side, but I can't play none of it. So, oh well.
All right,
I wish I
love
could.
you both. Thank you again, Bobby, for all you do. Phil, thank you for everything you do. Casey, if you're still listening, brother, I love you, and thank you for everything you've done. You're paying the ultimate sacrifice for securing the border for me and my family, and I'm ever indebted to you.
Absolutely.
I missed you guys a lot the last couple of weeks. I'm glad to talk with you guys again. Like I said, I've missed you a lot. I've only had a couple brief moments. I miss you guys.
We love you.
We appreciate that, brother. Okay. Well, we appreciate that. That's for sure. Okay, well, that's going to be it for now.
Bill, stop cheating on me, damn it. I know you're cheating on me. I know that's why you disappear for weeks. You're that cheating spout.
It's only those pangs of jealousy that I get when I see you interacting with all these other guys. It kills me. I have to strike back.